Good morning. Welcome. You're on the Success Secrets for Business, Family, and Life channel. This is a coffee break show. I'm Vickie Helm, and today we are going to rock your world. We have Heidi on with us from Crypto Tips. She's the host of Crypto Tips. This is brought to you by the Metadime Digital Network, and I want to welcome you here, Heidi. Thank you for joining us on today's show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Vickie. This is going to be fun.
Oh, yeah, it is. We are going to have a great time today. We are going to rock the house. Now, listen, if you're new here, we go live Monday through Friday, and we share tips, tools, techniques, inspiration, motivation, and those things that are going to help you create thrivability. Today is a conversation that you guys have been barking at me for over almost 8 months right now. 8 months you guys have been hacking about, hey, get somebody on for cryptos. Somebody teach us about cryptos. Will you teach us about Bitcoin? How do I buy Bitcoin? Somebody get somebody with them, talent in this crypto tip. So we did. I went in and I found her on a show. She has her show of her own. It's called Crypto Tips. And before you do anything, I want you to go over there right now. Before the conversation starts, you're going to want to subscribe. You go over and subscribe to Crypto Tips. It's her channel, because now I'm handing you over to the expert. Thank you for being here on the show today. I want to just start with the basics. Let's just start from ground zero. What's Bitcoin? What is cryptocurrency? What is it?
So, very basic thing about cryptocurrency, probably the most important thing about it that sets it apart from other investment choices, is that it is a digital currency that is controlled by a decentralized network of computers. So not a central bank, not some central entity that can control the flow of supply. And this network also, it's a couple different things. It's a unit of currency. It's a store of value for some. It's a network itself. It's a payment pathways, thinking bank transfers and things like this. It's really all in one, wrapped in one instrument. It's a really helpful tool, especially for those of you who are looking to diversify your portfolios or looking for ways to hedge against these crazy things that we're seeing playing out with inflation, with stimulus packages that are coming out here, left, right, and center. But that's really the core values of cryptocurrency that I believe in, is its decentralization. And in that decentralization, it grants it censorship resistance, as in there's not one central authority that can say, oh, you can't spend your money on this or that based on maybe your political views. We saw that with PayPal. Several people have experienced that with PayPal. It doesn't require any kind, unless you can have a Bitcoin wallet, you can buy Bitcoin, you can own Bitcoin without going through any kind of identifiable platforms. Anyone can own Bitcoin. Anyone can send Bitcoin across borders. It's international. It's borderless. It's also permissionless in that anyone can run a node for Bitcoin or many other cryptocurrencies as well. That's the thing. There's Bitcoin, and then there's other cryptocurrencies. They're not all equal. They don't all have the same functionality or security. Some have more privacy features than others. I'm always so bad trying to do an elevator pitch for crypto because I don't talk about everything. But those are definitely like the things that I think, if you're going to be investing in cryptocurrency, or if you're interested in it at all, the really important things to wrap your head around are the strength of decentralization, the importance of the censorship resistance, and the disruption that this kind of international payments can play out. In addition to that store of value and the appreciation thing of it, like a limited supply. It's pretty important.
She said a lot there, and I want to put it in layman's term.
I'm not that good at it anymore.
You're great. It's freedom. One of the things crypto is one of the most important things I think most people don't know is that money comes in several forms. Just like we always think paper money is money, but it's fiat money. And so we look at gold and silver. That is the world's money. Gold and silver have been in the world a long time. The first digital money is cryptocurrency. It's the world's money. And what's the difference she's saying about it in decentralized, meaning it doesn't belong to a country, it doesn't belong to a bank, it belongs to the people. And so this is the beauty of having cryptocurrency, and learning how to use it is so important, because I really believe it's the future of how our money is going to turn, because it's the fiat currencies are, or the fake currencies are collapsing. They're losing value. They've done nothing but lose value since your entire life. Since, I don't care how old you are, fiat currency has lost value. That's all it's ever done. But most people don't understand, Heidi, that there was a point where money used to gain in value. So you had it over here. And this is what I think is important about learning about cryptos over time, like taking a 10-year view. Tell us what you think. I mean, this is kind of a guesstimation. Tell us what you think is going to, how it's going to infuse into society as it's doing today.
I mean, there's this dream of mass adoption with cryptocurrencies, where everyone voluntarily just kind of wakes up and would prefer that kind of system for how their money could work. But the more that I've been in this space, the more that I've seen how, these governments and these central banks are deciding to manage their money and influence, how people have to survive off of that, the more I'm realizing it's going to be a move of necessity rather than pure choice.
Yes.
It is a choice that people will have, and I think that there will be millions of people grateful for that. But it's not, most likely it's not going to be the way that maybe you and I have come across as just a curiosity, and then we fell down the rabbit hole. But yeah, it's really interesting, because especially now we're seeing it's really getting the attention of different governments around the world, and they're trying to regulate it. And again, I'm always going to go back to the strength of decentralization. The only way they can regulate, okay, I'm just going to put this out there. No one can regulate Bitcoin.
That's right. No one.
The government can try and threaten that they can. If the more that they say that, the more it proves that they don't know how it works.
I know.
But what they can do is they can, I call them like bottlenecks, these centralized bottlenecks of how people interact with cryptocurrencies. That's what they can regulate. Think of centralized exchanges like Coinbase is a popular one. Kraken, also Bitstamp. These are all centralized exchanges that allow for people to, they're very convenient as a fiat on-ramp. You can buy Bitcoin very easily with your bank account, but they are going to be the ones that will be imposing these regulations. And so it'll be interesting to see when mass adoption hits. It's probably going to be these two different worlds or ways of interacting with cryptocurrencies. The very regulated, and also, just so you know, regulation is synonymous with raising the barrier of entry. Higher regulation means less people can participate, because less people can meet those strict requirements, whether it be they just don't have access to like government IDs, or, who knows, maybe there's going to be a limit or a minimum of what you can invest. Like you have to meet a certain threshold, who knows? But so there's going to be that kind of regulated source. And there's also going to be this other side of it, like the true way to participate in cryptocurrency. And that's utilizing things like decentralized exchanges, a way to trade cryptocurrencies in a truly peer-to-peer fashion. And they are organized in a decentralized manner where they don't have a CEO. They don't have anyone that can really have a lot of pressure put on them by these regulators to enforce those rules. It's really something I keep learning. I've had my channel now for about 6 years, and I keep going back to these basics, because the more attention that these cryptocurrencies get, the more they're going to be tested. And the foundational layers of these cryptocurrencies and how they're interacting with the people, it's going to be tested. And so who knows what's going to happen 10 years from now? 2 years ago, I couldn't even predict what was going to happen in crypto. But I think also these central bank digital currencies, we're seeing a lot from China. Even the European Central Bank is talking about doing maybe a digital euro.
Yep.
And so like you're talking about, currency is constantly devaluing. And even like the US dollar, technically it's not the same as it was in 1971 when they took it off the gold standard. That's when really inflation just took off. But so it's just going to be, that's a new version of the dollar or whatever, or the euro or the yen. And those are kind of concerning to me just because of their traceability. And it's going to be a network run and built by these different governments. And so it's going to be tied to your paychecks, your taxes, your medical bills, and everything's going to be tracked, and you're going to be in the system, and it's not exactly a free way to interact with money. So it'll be really interesting to see how people are kind of forced into digital currencies through the use of these central bank digital currencies. And then also they can maybe see, on the other hand, this other much more freeing and private and, friendly for your privacy option for operating in digital currencies. So I'm always going to have hope that people are going to avert towards that decentralized and more free path.
I am very much all about decentralized currencies. First, I want to tell the Facebook user, we'll get to your question right in a minute. But what I do want to say about the decentralized, I think it's interesting that central banks are making their currencies or their coins or their tokens. And I'm thinking to myself when that happened, because I just think like a couple of, maybe earlier this week, maybe last week, the Ukraine just decided that its token was going to be, was it Litecoin?
Oh, yeah, they're going to use,
as that their central bank token. And I was like, interesting. But the central banks who are making are they trying to put the banking system out? I mean, because that's the question. If I can deal as a central bank directly with someone, why do you need the bank? So if they have that cryptocurrency, there is a big difference. You have to understand there's decentralized, which is, it's not owned by anyone. There's a lot of work to be done. And I want to let you know, in this 1 hour conversation with Heidi, you're not going to be like, oh, I know everything about cryptocurrencies. Oh, I get it. And so there's a couple of things that we have to know. I want to answer this person's question. I'm not sure who it is. Could be Anna, could be Ross, could be Robert, whatever you guys are. What about bitbuy.com? Is that a good source? That's an interesting question.
Oh, actually, I'm not familiar with that one. Is that I'm guessing that's an exchange?
It's an exchange, and I think they want to know if it's a good exchange. And that's kind of an interesting question to ask, because it's not maybe the exchange that you're buying it from. It might be is BitBuy is that the one that the Bulgarian had that they just busted, and he's now going to jail because he did something illegal with it? Is that the BitBuy you're talking about? Or is it an exchange that you're buying a currency on or a crypto on? Because if it is, I really use the big ones, Kraken and of course, Coinbase, any of those beginner ones here, I would use those. That would be my, when you're asking if an exchange is a good source, I don't know, because I can't see the back office. I'm not on their board. I don't know what they're doing. This is a really vast question, but it's a good question. You want a good exchange to buy cryptos from. And I've used a lot of them, Poloniex and Binance and, Kraken. I mean, way in the back days, back in the dark ages of 2014.
Yeah. I mean, and there's like Coinbase is probably the most user-friendly exchange out there. It's kind of questionable because they've done, like, they've sold some contracts to different tracking companies, to the IRS and things like that. But if you read the fine print, the terms of use or terms of service for any of these centralized exchanges, it all says that, where if it's, to help government or an investigation or whatever, like, they're going to fork over your information.
Yeah.
So Coinbase is, okay, here's how it would rank. Coinbase is probably the most user-friendly. Kraken what I like about them is that they're very much into the education of cryptocurrencies for people. Also, they have their KYC verification process is all done in-house. They don't outsource that to some random KYC company, pretty much giving your driver's license or your passport, your address, like all that really sensitive information to some company that you don't even know. A lot of these exchanges do that, and they don't tell you that. But so that's one thing I like for Kraken. Also, Bitstamp is a good one just because it's the longest running. It's a very secure one. But I think they've all been hacked. Most of them now, I think, have some kind of insurance fund set up so that if the hack happens from their end, like their back end, their wallets were hacked, you're covered. But the insurance fund will never cover if you're hacked because your password or from your end, your computer was bugged or something. So just keep that in mind. So I always encourage people to keep their coins off the exchanges if you can. Yeah.
Yes. As a matter of fact, want to talk about this right here. We'll bring this in. You're like, what is this? This is a Ledger wallet, and I suggest everybody have their Ledger wallet with them. It's this size. And the beauty of everybody always talks about wanting to have financial freedom. Everybody's out there, hi, I want financial freedom. I want financial freedom. Well, there's a big responsibility with financial freedom, and that is learning how to be your own bank. Everybody's like, okay, I want a house that's off grid. Well, if you're off grid, everyone knows that you have to buy solar panels. You buy the solar panels and you manage your own electricity. You manage where it goes and how much you use in the house. It's the same thing with cryptos. Cryptos are you turning into your own bank and learning to manage your financial freedom with your own self. And that's the beauty of it. So here's the thing we talked about earlier, that you're not going to know everything all at once. And I know, didn't you say you had a Patreon account? Don't you have a Patreon account where people you want to learn from somebody who's a little more of an expert? I'm an expert for me. On my show, I bring experts on. Here's the expert. And can they learn from you? How can they be involved in getting to know cryptos really well?
Yeah, I do have a Patreon account. If you're interested, you can go to patreon.com/cryptotips. I offer classes that cover some of the basic topics like wallets, how to earn a passive income using cryptocurrencies was a popular one. Also, this like having a mindset for a bull run. A lot of people, they're new to cryptos. They don't know, what's happening in the market, how they should be reacting to that. We also offer access to our own crypto portfolio to show you like how we allocate our funds.
Cool.
And also trade alerts as well. So if we're making a move, we say what it is and why, always why. My goal really is to have people not rely on me, just to really get introduced to it and to feel comfortable with it.
Yes.
Bitcoin recently dipped down to 30,000.
Yeah, it's skyrocketed.
A lot of people freaking out about that.
On its way up. I'm like,
exactly. And so that's definitely the running theme of my show is decentralization and this long-term perspective. And it all flows back to understanding why Bitcoin was created, why it's important, why it will continue to prove very important to you in the future. It's something that you can own irrevocably without anyone else, permission. Right. Talk about, again, like you were saying with the Ledger Nano X, a lot of people are kind of nervous about cryptocurrencies because of that concept. Like there's no theoretical help desk for any, like maybe these exchanges, maybe Ledger itself has like, a support staff or whatever, but ultimately it is in your hands. That can be very empowering, but for some people it can be kind of intimidating. Fair enough. I was in that situation myself years ago, but if you just play around with it, if you move very little amounts of cryptocurrency just to feel it out, to get comfortable with it, I definitely encourage that. So just get your feet wet and try it out and see It's also new, right? Everyone keeps saying this crypto space is so new. That's very true. And with that comes maybe it's not so user friendly. It's not so intuitive. And I think the developers are definitely working towards that goal.
Yes.
Always.
Yes, I think that is really on their minds as well. So here's what I want to say. Robin, thank you for putting this up. It's patreon.com/crypto tips. The best thing you can do right now, if you're doing step one, is to educate yourself. You want to educate yourself before you do this. Now, I'm telling you, there's a lot of freedom in cryptocurrencies. There's a lot of responsibility in cryptocurrencies. There's a lot of financial freedom for anyone. But, this week we just launched our book. We launched our book yesterday. It's called The She Myth, Redefining Women in Business. So I want to talk to you women that are out there listening, whether you're in your car, on the podcast, whether you're on the show live. This is something that every woman needs to learn. You need to learn how to manage your own finances and empower your own wealth and empower your way to becoming free. I mean, very free, so that your choices are based on something completely different. And I want to talk about that with you. And I'd like to know your start of your story. Like, how did you even get into cryptos? I mean, how did that happen?
Yeah, I 100% agree with you with this concept of women needing to have a solid way to invest and have a nest egg of themselves. It is incredibly empowering, speaking for myself. I first got into cryptocurrencies in 2014. A friend of mine actually told me about it, and then I could not wrap my head around how there could be money without government. And so that kind of set me on a path trying to understand that. I was working at a pizza place, broke as a joke, and Bitcoin, back then, with was hindsight being 2020, it's like super cheap back then. But for me, I was pretty much putting whatever I was earning into Bitcoin just to see what would happen with it. And that worked out pretty well. But it was really just I was in a place where I was pretty wide open. I didn't have a lot of things tying me down, and so I was kind of in this like investigative stage of my life where I was trying to figure out how to make money online, how to live more free, not be tied to one specific location. And that played into that beautifully. Yes. And actually I got into this decentralized social media platform called Steemit. Is like a blogging platform similar to Reddit. Yeah. And I also enjoy writing and things like this. So my first blog posts were actually about travel and adventure, and being a woman, talking actually on a crypto-based social media platform, but not talking about crypto, kind of expanding the user base. I got a lot of support, and I earned a lot of income, cryptocurrency from that. So that was like my nest egg that I never had before in my entire life. And that changed my life. And then it also pivoted me towards creating crypto tips, because then I realized I'm on the site. I have a growing platform as well. I have a voice that people want to listen to. How can I help them? And so I started talking about really basic things about cryptocurrencies. Pretty much as I was learning about it, I was doing a video. So I don't come from a tech background, or even like a financial background or a mathematical background.
You hear that? Say that again.
Like at all. I studied English in college, so there is that. So I was really coming to it, and especially back then, like there wasn't all of this information about cryptocurrencies either. There was like a select few sources that you could learn from. So I was really trying my best to digest what they were saying, these technical things. And then trying to put it out in a user-friendly way. And then it's really evolved, from there. So that's how I got started, really.
And I think that's so important to know, because people have a tendency to think that it's hard. You guys, somebody's saying you're so beautiful. I like this right here. Woo, woo, you go, girl. All right, thank you. So I'm looking at this. It's very empowering. She didn't know anything about anything. And I got to be honest, you guys know me. I am when I got started, it was 2014. And when we started learning about cryptos and we started getting out there, I think I was closer to 2015, actually, for me. When we started learning, I didn't get it at all. I was like, what is this? This is so confusing. But you have to stay with the learning curve. And what's brilliant about now is you don't have to do what we did, which was struggle in the beginning. You can go to Patreon and get that /crypto tips and just make it easy on yourself. Invest a little bit of money to learn how to do it, to get it right. I know the first time that I learned about wallets, I was like, what do they mean? Wallets? What is, there's an electronic wallet and there's a hard wallet. There's nomenclature that you have to learn about when you jump into cryptos. But I will tell you, it is the future. It will be our money system. It is a way that you can get financial freedom. And here's what's interesting. She has a class right now, and I'm thinking, I'm going to go over to Patreon and see what she's got going down over there about investing and keeping. You can make your nest egg. Now, to me, everybody looks at cryptocurrencies and they're like, I don't have $34,000 to invest. I don't have this. What do I do? Look at this. I make a trade. Somebody said I make a trade and I made $800. That's right. I got to tell you that if you understand what you're doing, there's opportunity there, but you have to get to the point where you're understanding what you're doing, full stop. And it's okay to not know and suck at it in the beginning, but you have to go ahead and invest in that. So, people often say, I don't have $34,000 to invest. What do I do? How do I get involved? I don't have enough money.
You can buy like $10 worth of Bitcoin. You can buy very little amounts of Bitcoin. And that's actually something that I suggest people explore, is a thing called dollar cost averaging, where you set a budget for yourself where you can comfortably afford to invest, whether it's $5 a week, $10 a month, $100, whatever you can afford. And you slowly start accumulating a position in that coin. That way you don't have to freak out, because there is some volatile price movements.
Yes.
And it can be very overwhelming, especially for someone who doesn't understand the tech, who doesn't understand the big picture yet. And, they're most likely the people who are freaking out when there's like a 30% correction, meaning the price goes down by 30% in like an hour, which is like, or in a day. Like that's like no sweat off my back, but it's a buying opportunity. But for people who don't know about it, they might freak out, panic sell, and then buy back at a higher price, which is usually what happens to newcomers to the space so dollar cost averaging. I want to say something about trading as well, that is very often the language used by scammers who are saying guaranteed profits. Just learn, like, we'll do your trading or whatever. There's no one, you don't need anyone to help you to make money in crypto. All you have to do is buy a little bit of crypto, of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and just hold it. And if you hold Bitcoin for 3 years, you're going to make a profit. I don't care when you bought. That's true. Even if you bought at the very top of the bull last year, if you held it until right now, you would have doubled your money. So there's a lot of hype and FOMO, fear of missing out, that goes into a bull market like this. Crypto is getting a ton of attention. But when there's a bear market, like for the past 2-3 years, everyone thought Bitcoin was dead. And that's actually when I do most of my work. I can really focus on other things rather than addressing these kind of like FOMO. Should I buy now? Is it too late? Kind of attitudes. But yeah, I really want to encourage people that you don't have to pay a scammer to do his magical trading things. You can make it very simple on yourself. But it's you can really give yourself some peace of mind if you just investigate a little bit into really what makes Bitcoin tick. Not tick. That's probably takes more than a lifetime to really understand. But like the bigger picture of why it exists, that why
Yes.
question is a really good one to
That's
pay attention
the
to.
freedom piece is so important. Black Betty, I teach music and I only accept payment in crypto and credit cards, and my clients
Nice.
now do crypto too. Brilliant. I absolutely love that. This over here, he's got salad head. I run a restaurant, and crypto makes it much easier. Look at this. Reminder, neither Vickie or Heidi are financial advisors. I have been in the past with all the license, but I gave them all up. They only share what they are doing. That's correct. We are sharing what we do, and that's what we do. So when I look at this, I want to talk about Black Betty's statement, because there are businesses right now that take crypto. In fact, for years now at Hewlett Packard, you were able to buy a computer using cryptos.
That's true.
And the people think that cryptos are not taken anywhere, that they're just kind of out there in the public. There are millions of businesses now that take cryptocurrency over fiat currency, because this money over here can rise over a period of time. And I want to let you know, when she talks about volatility, that's true. It goes up and down and up and down and up and down. But over a period of time, it just goes up and down, up and down, up and down. You have to be willing to be patient and just ride the lows and ride the highs. That's just, patient, riding the lows, riding the highs. So I like this. Let's see. Heidi, what is your preferred digital currency? What is your preferred digital currency? Oh, God, that is a step out in the unknown. Like, hi, will you tell us?
I mean, Bitcoin is solid. It's probably the least risky cryptocurrency to hold. But there are several different ones that have many different functionalities that I find valuable. Ethereum is great for the ecosystem that's developing with it. Monero is amazing for its privacy features. Polkadot is brand new. I'm not endorsing these coins by any means, but I am a fan of any coin that is working towards what's called a blockchain interoperability, pretty much to work with other blockchains to feed off of each other's strengths, rather than coming at this crypto space as like oh no, what is it called? A game theory, like a
game theory. Got it.
I can't think.
It's like,
sorry,
nothing like a good brain
but
fart.
it's not just like a one coin to rule them all. Like a lot of different coins are, they took the core aspects of Bitcoin and they really built out beyond that. And there are always trade-offs made, like maybe Ethereum has a lot going for it, but again, the very common complaint there is high gas fees. So its ability to scale. Bitcoin, it being proof of work, it uses a lot of electricity and power and energy to run the network. That makes it extremely secure, but it's not exactly good for the environment. So it's all just really an experiment, if we're being honest here. People have been trying to build a digital currency since the 70s with the cypherpunk movements. They've built systems that are really designed to protect your privacy on an online world. Encrypted email was brought to us by them, and eventually Bitcoin as well. So a way to money and to transact online. So that was like the core seed, right? And then other coins have kind of branched out from that. So those are like the pillars that I look for in a crypto that I'm like going to be holding long term: level of decentralization, privacy features, and this new one that I think will prove very valuable and I hope continues to develop in the future is that cross-chain blockchain interoperability.
So we have somebody else. What about that pirate coin? And I'm like, okay, she hasn't memorized every single coin on the exchange.
There's like,
there's
3,000, 5,000, 10,000 cryptocurrencies. Come on.
Have you looked at, because you have Monero. I really like R myself, the pirate coin. I think its privacy features are outstanding for me. And I know that Karen was asking because, well, I'm heavily invested in R. Thank you for that. But I'm also heavy invested. I like Litecoin. I'm a Bitcoin and Ethereum. Got a lot of that for me. You have to do your own research. This is about you getting it to the point where you understand what you're wanting to create for yourself in your own financial freedom. So, yeah, this is it right here. Vickie et al. I like that you eat your own cooking and practice what you preach. I got to say that too, because this is a new level of investing. But the clear message here is about empowering yourself. And it's not that you're going to get this and suddenly it's going to be like, oh, I know how to do it. I'm going to make a lot of money. We're not here to suddenly just make a lot of money. It's about a lifestyle change. It is about a mindset change when we take a look at creating financial freedom. A lot of people who get into this right now, it's a bull run and everybody's like, I want to make some money. I'm going to invest. And then we see articles like Guggenheim is like, oh, it's going to be 400,000. And JP Morgan, who just said it was fraudulent a couple of years ago, is now it's going to be under
Bitcoin Pro.
Yeah. And so what happens here is we are looking, look at this. Now the truth comes out. There are over 65,000 different cryptocurrencies.
Yeah.
And it is a long-term proposition. Thank you. This is and this person here, she is very financially savvy. She's created a pension and things. She had a Series 7 and all the big licenses that you get. So she's actually the financial services girl. She's going to be on the show in February. Like this Litecoin and Ethereum Classic has been good. Yes, there are some, the way I judge a cryptocurrency when I want to invest is I want to see how it is infused and used in the world. Like if it's a cryptocurrency and there's no interest in it by a system or a company or a thing around it, if it's not going to be used, like we're going to have a lot of smart contracts. And I feel like the smart contracts are coming in. That's a ERC20 token right there. Okay, so if I know how it's being used and I can see in the future that it's going to be used and infused in the world, it's got for me benefit. If it is not being used and there's not a lot of use for it in the world, then this is just what I do. I look at how it's being used. Like I bought Bitcoin back in the low hundies. And there was in that time, I've had it for so long, you just buy it and kind of hold it and watch what it does, see how it's being implemented. Well, I bought Ethereum when it was in the single digits. So it's like when you see how it's going to play out in the world, the next thing I look is how's the team managing it, this particular thing. But there's so much. Remember when the internet was first built? We had dial-up AOL. Maybe you don't remember.
I remember that.
Okay, good. I'm glad that you do. And now we have this instant speed that it's evolved over time and it's gotten better, bigger, faster. At first, all you could do was put a page up and the page just said, this is my business. Here's who I am. Here's my number. Call me. So it was kind of like an online phone book. But now you can have shows on it. There's so many things you can do with the internet. That evolution we're in the beginning of. We're at the point where, hi, welcome to Bitcoin. This is kind of our page right here. It is going to be evolving and shifting. And the more you know now, the better off you will be for the future. I just want to go over here because there is a lot of things right here. I think the other thing to think about is that it isn't winning the lottery. It's a long game. And just like your 401k or your IRA or your mutual fund, we don't expect them to pave our retirement next week. This is a long-term investment game. It's a lifestyle. It's about moving. And we have this here. Risa, Litecoin and Ethereum Classic have been steady. Risa, this is one of the people who had requested, you want to go to her Patreon page at Crypto Tips, because my job here isn't to tell you all about it so you know about it and you can buy about it. We're having an education. I want to introduce someone I think gives and delivers a lot of value. If you subscribe to her channel, you'll see how much you can learn just from, I literally binge watch her channel from show to show to show, the next one. And while you're there, if the commercials come up, please give a shout out and just let it go and then let her earn some money there. But the Patreon crypto tips, that's where you're really going to learn it. And the more you learn now, the more you're going to be invested. So you guys know me, I hunt people down and I look for the right person with the right mindset that I think is moving forward. And what I liked about her, Heidi has a long-term mind, a long-term plan. And that mindset is so important. I want to give it to the right person to help you guys look for it. And thank you for that. I hear okay. Thank you. Let's see. Pop over here where I haven't seen the crypto ATM or its option on normal ATM. Well, it's coming, and there are crypto ATMs out there. I've seen them in Europe. Yes, I need her channel. Somebody put the channel back up. We said, people, I need her channel. Here's a crypto tips channel right now. Go right there. And I'm taking everybody who's a newbie. I made my commitment. This is the part where I told you, this is a place where we help you create thrivability into the future. Here's what I know. Cryptos are in, and fiats are doing the same thing they always do. They're devaluing. To me, when money comes in like that fiat currency, the first thing I'm doing is, where am I going to put it so it earns more money, so it makes more money? So, because every day you hold fiat currency, the value goes down. So mindset. Yes, it's about mindset. Here is her channel. Here is her Patreon page. We get this channel Patreon page. So I want to ask a few more questions because, I got her on for a little bit, 20 minutes, and I want to make sure we have all these questions answers. Thank you. I'm not sure who this is, but I love seeing this. You're amazing, Vickie. I love your shows. Thank you so much. That's really great. So I want to talk about, what are 3 tips that you could give the beginners? Like if you're a beginner now and you had to do it all over again, what are the 3 things you would have done differently than you did in the beginning?
Well, that's tricky.
Nobody's asking that question, I think.
I mean, going back, I would have used a decentralized exchange to purchase my crypto. There's one that I know of. It is not user-friendly, but if you commit your time to learning it, it's worth it. There's no KYC. Don't give up any personal information. You're not sending your information, your bank information to anyone else. It's stored locally on your computer. It's called BISC, B-I-S-Q. B-I-S-Q. And that's the only decentralized exchange that I know of that is decentralized enough that allows for that that ability, that kind of freedom that you want. That's just so you can start with a completely clean slate. But not everyone is so concerned about, their privacy necessarily. So yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to advise anyone to just it's either you wait and you educate yourself and then you invest, or you put a little bit in and then that motivates you to learn about it. I mean, whatever motivates you, but either way, you got to get that education in. So, I mean, I would,
you would have gone on a decentralized platform.
I would limit yourself to KYC processing. Pick one exchange,
yes.
Because that's the number one law of privacy is that the second you give it away, it's compromised. Just assume it is. Yeah. So try to limit yourself as best you can to that. So just one exchange as your fiat on-ramp. You can trade crypto to crypto on a number of different exchanges that don't require identifying information. Tip number 2 is get it off that exchange as quickly as possible. That is an overwhelming thing. That is probably going to take time and practice of transferring cryptocurrencies, understanding transaction fees and how you can customize that to not overpay for no reason. And it's hard to say exactly what to do, because every mistake that you make, especially if you lose money doing so, you are paying for your education. You will never forget that mistake. It's hard to learn from other people's mistakes because it didn't happen to you. But I would say that's a solid one is limit to the KYC, get your coins off an exchange into a wallet that you own, and use a good VPN. If you're interested in using VPNs, I use
Wait a minute.
Molvad.
I wanna go back and say,
Okay.
could you tell them what a VPN is, and then
Sure.
say which one? That's because people are like, "What's a VPN?"
Okay. A VPN is it adjusts your internet connection. It doesn't it confiscates or obfuscates not confiscates obfuscates the location of where you're accessing the internet. Some allow you to choose which country to say that you're coming from. Basically, it redirects your connection to the internet from your real location. As VPNs are kind of designed to, they should be, the concept is to protect your privacy, protect your identifying information. You'd be surprised how many VPNs, if you sign up for it, they ask for your name, your address.
Yeah. Nope.
They only accept credit cards. So the one that I use that is great, it's never failed me yet, is Molvad, Mullvad, I believe is. Yeah.
Will you put that up, Karen?
Mullvad, and you can pay in crypto, and bonus, you can have 5 computers with one subscription. The subscription is pretty inexpensive. I think it's like $30 a year or 6 months or something like this. It's pretty affordable. And then, if you have a friend who has Mullvad, you can just split the cost. So it's very affordable. Yeah. So that's one I use.
Great. These are really important things right now that we're learning, because these are the steps and the measures that we take. So I want to be really open with you guys. What I learn about crypto is self-taught. And right now, I absolutely wish when I started that I had somebody like Heidi to advise me, to be able to teach me, to help me learn. This is the power of taking your finances into your own hand, and learning how or why or what the big picture is. But mostly, I also want to talk about the movement. The movement. It's not a revolution. It's an evolution. It's an evolution in living where they treat you best, taking control of your financial future. Everything about the globe is going to switch because of the nature of blockchain and the nature of the power of decentralized. So when you learn about these types of investments and things like that, the value of that, learning it now so that you don't make those mistakes. And I want to tell you, everybody thinks that stuff that happens in the beginning, we've never been bit. Okay, so I want to let you know, I've been part of a hack. They took 40% of my portfolio and, kind of hang out there. Those kind of things happen, but it doesn't matter. When I started my online businesses, I have been hacked 3-4 times and money stolen. It happens. It doesn't matter whether it's cryptocurrency, your online website, it's your wallet, somebody pickpockets you, your kid comes and takes $20. Stuff happens. Now, when you get to the point where you're learning about what happened in the beginning, I remember somebody told me, and thank God they told me this, and I want to warn you guys about this. The first time you transfer coins from one place to another, don't transfer it all. Just transfer an itty little bit to make sure you get it right. Because the first time I lost my itty little bit, and had I transferred everything, it would have just evaporated into thin air. There are things that are very responsible here, but once you get the understanding of them, I just want to ask you, this is a personal question. You don't even have to ask it, but how do you feel as a woman empowered by being able to understand your own financial well-being and how to manage it? Like, you can make passive income from cryptos. How does that feel for you to have that ability?
I mean, it's incredibly freeing. Not even just the crypto side of it, just having built something that is valuable and provides quality information to people. That's something I'm incredibly prideful of.
Me too,
but yeah, the crypto, it's so incredibly disruptive that there is so many new avenues of how you can earn passive income, how you can have an edge on whatever is, whatever it's disrupting next. If you're paying attention, you can kind of be ahead of the curve and really set yourself up to benefit from that. But yeah, to have a passive income, especially in a world where today we're like, there's global lockdowns, people are losing their jobs. Tie onto that, inflation is eating away at their savings, if they have any savings. It's such a debt-based society now that most everyone, it's just a guarantee you have a mortgage, you have a car payment, student loans, credit card debt, whatever. And so it's very freeing to know that I have choices and I'm not locked down because of, some bad financial moves that, could have happened. And that's something actually Andreas Antonopoulos is really great. He's a great speaker and representative of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general. He's the one who really inspired me to down that road of the why and the big picture. Andreas Antonopoulos is great.
Put him in there, Karen.
And have fun trying to spell the last name.
Find him. They'll find him.
But he kind of talked about this concept in one of his many public speeches about the ability to stream money. Just like how Netflix, you can watch a video without having to save it on your computer. That's one example of how the kind of disruption that crypto can give you is that there's so many different ways that this can go. Like, for example, the advertising agencies online, on YouTube, on Google, whatever, they collect your data. They make so much money off of your attention and you don't see a lick of it besides an ad that they use for you to give them your money. And so crypto really can flip that on its head. And we're seeing that in these decentralized social medias that are incentivizing users with their cryptocurrencies. BAT, the web browser that allows people to get support from the people who visit their websites, and you block the ads and things like that. That's just like a very small way of how you can earn money by just living really and participating in an online world. I think that's talk about 10 years from now. Yeah. And with the new generation coming up who's very tech savvy, they're going to be demanding things like this, and where you're just, it's just a constant stream of income, money coming in, maybe little bits for whatever. If you're playing a game on your phone, or if you're chatting with someone online, or if you're online shopping, you can get streams of income that way. So that'll be really interesting to see how that plays out and how that shapes the world. People's, but
the future is going to be vastly different. But what I like about it is people aren't going to be toiling. I want to pop up here because whoa, there we go. Thanks, Vickie and Heidi, for an amazing pack full of info show. Thank you. I want to let you know this, Heidi is sharing with us in a way that most people might pay, thousands of dollars to get the information. She's just generously sharing with us for free. I mean, this is a lot of value-packed information, but I want to tell you, this is why you want to subscribe right now. So subscribe to her channel, Crypto Tips. We have it in that link. You want to go to Crypto Tips, subscribe. And for women out there, I think one of the most empowering things that she said is the decisions you make will be vastly different when you can own your own future, when you own your own now. And I will let you know that is very empowering for me as well. Number one thing I protect is my freedom and my freedom to make those choices. So the other thing I want to go over, let's see, I want to pop in because, all right, here's the thing. If you guys have any more questions for her, then you need to ask them right now. And there's somebody up here, so many people are talking. I'm just going to say it. He asked, what is a wallet? What is an online wallet? What does that mean? What is a wallet address? That's what it was. There it was. I found it, but there's a lot of conversation going on and this is all the beginning. So what is a wallet address?
Okay. So a wallet address, there's two parts. There's a public key and a private key. A public key is what allows you to receive coins And you can also see the balance of that wallet and any transaction history that it has. The private key, or the private address, the private key is what pretty much proves the ownership of that wallet. It grants you the ability to withdraw from that wallet. And talking about like these little nuances of how you interact with cryptos, how you said you wish someone would have told you just to send a little bit first. There's ways of interacting with your public keys that can protect your privacy, especially if you're doing something like posting your public address for donations online, or if you're, if it's your business or something and you're kind of reusing the same public key. It's really important to understand, at least for Bitcoin and for Ethereum and for a great many different cryptocurrencies, when you give someone your private key, your public key, even though they can't take coins out of it, they can see how many coins you have in it and how many and what the transactions have been. So that's why Bitcoin is called pseudo-anonymous, because even though it's not like your name attached to that wallet, the second that you publish a public key online, when it's connected to an identity like your face or your real name, it's like that's your activity on that wallet is tied to you, and that could very easily potentially make you a target for a hacker or a scammer. Like they might say, I won't get into how people hack people, but anyway, I'm getting off topic already. The wallet is, the address is most likely what you're talking about is the public address. That's what you see when people say their donation addresses or whatever. And it's very important that you understand that your private key is something that is extremely sensitive, especially if it's involved with, if it's for your wallet where you're storing your cryptocurrencies for the very long term. I did a tutorial on how to set up a Ledger wallet, which in my opinion is a really good combination of usability and security on a cryptocurrency. I also, if you're going to be joining my Patreon, I highly suggest you check out my very first class that I held talking about wallets. There's a great number of different types of wallets, depending on how you plan to use and what your needs are, going along with kind of the security recommendations and best practices for each type. But yeah, so basically a wallet is something that you control. If you have your coins on a centralized exchange, they have your coins. They are the ones storing your coins, and they're just showing you a balance on your account. When you withdraw your coins, you're pretty much asking for permission for them to send you them. Sometimes there's limits. Sometimes they decide that they're not going to be giving you your crypto back, and they're going to pull an exit scam. That's happened a great many number of times, which is probably the riskiest part of having your coins on a centralized exchange. If you're planning on trading, if you know how to trade, fair enough, you're probably going to be keeping your coins there. But if you're not, I highly suggest looking into the different types of wallets. Maybe the Ledger Nano S or Nano X is just too expensive for you. Hardware wallets are the only wallets that you have to purchase that cost anything. All the other types of wallets are absolutely free. And there are ways where you can get a free wallet and just store it on a USB device and unplug that device. And then essentially it's a hardware wallet. It's cold storage. It's not accessed online. You can't, like a hacker can't hack my USB device if it's not plugged into my computer, basically. But there's a lot of nuances again with the security, with things like that. I'm like so bad with the beginners. I just want to go right down the rabbit hole. Come on with me. But I hope it's not too overwhelming.
No, I enjoy this. And the reason I like this is because it's an extension of how well she knows her stuff. I told you, I hunted the best one down. Crypto tips. You want to go with Heidi, you want to go to her Patreon, you want to learn from her. I think the integrity and honesty about what she does shows because of how much she's trying to give us at this moment. She just is like, I want to give you guys so much, so much. You might feel overwhelmed right now, and you might be thinking, and and I want to just squash these objections right now. You are not too old.
No.
This is the new money. You need to learn how to do it. It is not too hard. It is doable and learnable, and now it's become easier. It is not too dangerous. It's not about danger. This isn't about those, but it is as empowering as it sounds. It does make you feel as though you are actually, remember, the first time you learned to do something, how good it felt. Even if it was like, remember the first time you rode a bike, and at the beginning, riding a bike looked hard and you fell down a couple of times. Well, if you have somebody teaching you how to ride the bike, that's the way you go. Some of the things that we're looking at, and I want to thank you for your questions. You guys have been rolling it. So there's so many, this is great. This is why we do this show. Robin, I've been hesitant because I haven't been informed, but I am sure am opening my account today. And the next thing you want to do right now is don't leave yourself out of the loop. Training, get it right now. Patreon.com crypto tips. You can go ahead and get the education that we didn't get. We bumped around until we got this. And now we want to help you we want to help you get through this in a lot easier fashion than we did. And once you get it, once you understand it, I will tell you something. I am not surprised at all that you will be inspired. You will be obsessive. You will be wanting to learn everything. I want to talk to you about this because we don't have a book out yet. And I'm looking at Heidi thinking, there's a book that needs to come out here. So what I want to say is Crypto Revolution. That's a really good beginner's book. And to me, if you read that Crypto Revolution, that beginner's book, that'll take you. And you guys, I preached it all the time. So I want to say, Heidi, I'm absolutely thrilled, like beyond excited about having you share what you did today. I think there is a lot of people who have their eyes open right now, and they are going to be a lot better off working with you in cryptos and doing those things and subscribing to her channel. Your knowledge base is absolutely incredible, and I really appreciate seeing a woman, and I want to say that right now, it's a woman in cryptos, because there are boatloads of men in cryptos, boatloads of men. And I want to let you know that cryptos is for everyone at any age, anytime. Thank you for being with us today on the show. Thank you for sharing so kindly. And you guys know where to get a hold of her, right? We've already told you, crypto tips. Thank you for being with us today.
Yeah, thank you so much, Vickie. I really enjoyed this, and I appreciate you having me on. And whenever you want to have me back on to talk about cryptos, you just let me know.
It's funny because we're going to be talking about that after we close the show out. All right, that's been the Coffee Break Show. I'm Vickie Helm. I'm so excited. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I know you're going to be, hey, talk about this, but we'll talk about the show tomorrow. All right. Peace out, everybody. Go make it happen.